that if I could go back and talk to myself 30 years ago, and I probably need to go a little further. If I could go talk to myself about 33 years ago, I would say, be comfortable in who you are. And the sooner that you're comfortable in who you are, the easier it will be for you to go through and make some of the tough decisions, or figure out where you want to go, or figure out if the people around you are the people that that have your best thinking and interest, right? We talked about empathy, right? Sometimes we get caught up and we may make excuses for our friends or the people we hang around with, but at some point it can get to a point where it's not going to be a positive reflection on you, and it's going to knock you off the path that you're on. That piece of finding self is very important, and I implore you, and it's difficult, right? Because it means that you may be different from other people around you, right? And at some point, and you probably find out pretty soon, being different isn't a bad thing, right? Being different sometimes is a good thing. It differentiates you from everybody else, right? You will have a skill and a talent and an ability that differentiates you from other people and what they're able to do. So I would tell you all right now, it is cool to be smart, right? It's cool to have information. It is cool to be able to synthesize and express and consume a lot of different information. It is awesome to enjoy reading and to consume knowledge, right? You have to be a consumer of knowledge. All of you that are listening, when you think about who you want to surround yourself, you need to surround yourself with people that have common interest and have common goals on where they want to go, because that way there's no conflict, right? You don't have to translate anything. You don't have to make any decisions on which way you go if everybody's aimed in the right direction. Part of breaking that cycle of bullying is making sure that people have positive spaces that they can go into. I think you guys probably talked about it, but bullying is a cyclical thing, right? It happens over and over, sometimes because somebody else may have experienced it prior to them trying to, dip their foot into it. So you saying creating space for people to have more positive interaction is a huge part in breaking that cycle and giving everybody a place where they feel they belong, and they don't need to, really bully somebody or take that negative energy out on somebody else. Empathy is a huge part of everything that I think we have to do as a collective and as individuals going through our day, right? That ability to take yourself out of your spot and really understand how somebody else might feel from your actions or from somebody else's actions, and what the best course of action is, in those situations. So you being able to identify that feeling and the fact that needs to be present in everything that we do is important. There's effort involved in being empathetic, right? It's a conscious decision that you have to make. But those folks will go farther. And I know that from the standpoint of, in terms of being somebody that either as a leader or as someone that is being led by others, it's important that you understand where everybody may be coming from and where everybody may be feeling, and how some of your actions may impact what they're doing. And if you take a time to think about that before you do some things, sometimes you don't do things, and that's real talk, that's real life. And that's a skill that will carry and should stay with you as you grow up. In terms of bullying in sports, I think it's very simple. I think you guys have probably laid it out and probably have gotten into this, but at the root of it, it's a weak action, right? It's a weak activity, right? And so I think in sports, what you sometimes see is the group mentality, right? If you're in a crowd at a game and something goes wrong or somebody wants to pick on somebody, it's very easy to do because it's not you standing up and saying that to the person, right? It would be a very different situation if everybody was sitting and everybody sat down and you were the one person that was saying something. Everybody got quiet and you're the one person that was saying something. So I think in sports you see that group mentality, that ability to kind of fold into the crowd and like I was talking about before, like maybe not necessarily doing the right thing, because you're in that situation. I think there's a tendency in sports to, sometimes in people that aren't strong, to pick on people for that, right? To pick on those that may not be where they are. And I think the piece is, which is beautiful with all you that are 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, you're not a finished product, right? You put me out on a basketball court right now, there's probably a few things I can do. I can't do everything else I used to do, right? But you as 6th, 7th, 8th graders in any sport that you're doing, you're going to get better. You're going to get more comfortable with the sport. You're going to understand the sport better, right? The more you do it. And when you get in those spaces and those places, you start to get results. And so it's tough, at your age, and I guard people against it. Let them have fun, right? Have fun with it. Do the best you can, and don't take any time to say anything that can hurt somebody as they're pursuing this fun and what they're looking to do. So safe space, work on what your craft is. Know that you're not a finished product, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. We just want you to have fun, and we want you to be engaged.